We're gonna cover 5 wild exercises to help you become a better quarterback, and we're gonna start right now. Exercise 1, we're gonna get right into it, okay? So we've got rings set up right here. One thing that we can do oftentimes is just like a reclining row. I know this is not wild, so just bear with me. And we can think about training the rhomboids, the lats, the upper back. Okay, this is a really good row. Now, to make this wild, we can get a little bit more explosive and think about external rotation using our body weight. So if we're really strong, we can slide our feet forward. If we're weaker, move our feet back. And we can use this, okay, getting into this position here, poof, down controlled, poof, down controlled. I want to squeeze my mid back as I rotate back here. And I want to try and hold my core, my trunk, as I rotate to create that stability. And then as I get to the top, try and really think about squeezing. And if we look at the strongest QBs, they have incredibly strong trunks, okay? They have incredibly strong shoulders, even elbow extensors and hips. And so when we're thinking about this today, we're gonna go specifically into that shoulder girdle and that trunk. That's what we see as a great carryover to becoming an elite QB. You can do this specific exercise, let's say for 5 sets of 7 to optimize that shoulder strength. Okay, so these next 2 exercises I like to pair together, and they're gonna be very, very dynamic. And I'm even gonna show you a simple progression to get to these 2 movements. So if I grab, let's say I grab a 25, okay? And I'm gonna get set on this bench right here. The first thing I can do is a dumbbell external rotation, okay? So I wanna get to the point as somebody who throws a freaking ball. If I'm a pitcher, if I'm a QB in this case, we wanna be able to hit this 25 for multiple reps. If you're a high school kid, focus on 10 to 15 pounds, go through a controlled range of motion, rotate that back up. This is gonna strengthen your shoulder quite a bit. So this general exercise is gonna prepare you for the wild movements, okay? So the next movement I'm gonna get into, I'm gonna be in a chest supported position. Here, boom, 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 boom. Okay, that's a really, really good movement just to wake up that nervous system even more. And sometimes you could even use like a waterlogged baseball and try and throw these backwards and have somebody throw a ball to you, you throw it backwards to somebody else. That's a really cool exercise that can improve that shoulder stability. Now, I would pair that with a chaos exercise. So in this chaos case, I'm gonna use this, okay? So we've got our power elastic here. I'm gonna get with a 15-pound dumbbell or 15-pound kettlebell, and I'm just gonna go poof, 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 poof. Now, that's one way we can do this. Or we could just go here with some perturbations. So we're going through that perturbation while we're pushing our abs into the bench. Okay, that's gonna create that shoulder stability, that's gonna create that trunk stability. Use these movements, remember the general exercise, then the dynamic movement with the tennis ball, then the chaos external rotations, 5 to 10 reps, something along those lines. Now, one thing I wanted to point out, if we look at somebody like Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, right? These dudes are animals. They're extraordinarily strong. Patrick Mahomes, hips, quads, all of the movements that they do in training. They do a lot of general exercises like power cleans, back squats, front squats, okay? Those movements are pivotal, okay? Even think about Dante Culpepper, the dude could clean 405. He's back in the day. Randy Moss's first QB, Chris Carter's first QB. Those guys are Hall of Famers, right? Dante Culpepper was known as one of the strongest QBs ever. Do general movements, especially young guys. Do the squats, do the cleans, do the front squats, do the single leg squats, and then use these movements to build upon that. Now, I'm gonna give you 2 more wild exercises to help you become a better QB. Okay, this next movement is going to be trunk based, okay? So now we're talking about a little bit of shoulders, a little bit of abs. We're gonna focus on deceleration at high speed. So we're gonna go here, boom, boom, boom. Let's do 5 that way. Okay, now we're gonna go 5 here. Boom, 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 here, boom, boom, boom. And what we wanna focus on is rapid acceleration and then deceleration. And we wanna think about having the trunk hooked into our hip. That's where we're gonna see a lot of that throwing power transferred into our hand. So let's focus on that aspect. We've got that extremely wild shoulder strength now. That's gonna help us be a better QB, and that's gonna bring us into that next wild QB movement. Okay, these last 2 movements, I guarantee you probably never have seen before. Now, the first movement, I'll pair these together. I wanna be in a split position, okay? And I wanna have my hand here, and I wanna think about my trunk. And I'm gonna tell you why I pair these two movements together at the end here. We're gonna do a shoulder perturbation. So we're in that split position, shoulder perturbation, as fast as possible. Think about the ground reaction forces going from your feet up through your trunk into that shoulder at very, very high speeds. We can do that in a time setting, let's say 10 to 15 seconds, 5 to 6 sets. Rest about 45 seconds. The next movement that you can do with a cable, you can do with a reverse hyper, okay? Something that has a little bit of swing, something with a pendulum, okay? In this case, what I wanna do, and this is a movement that we use with our throwers, is we wanna get into a position here, okay? So I have my reverse hyper set there. I've got the HAF band here. And I wanna think about planting through my hips here. Think about playing QB. You have to be dynamic. You have a lot more action, a lot more movement, okay? It's a little bit different. A lot of people will compare playing QB to playing baseball, but I think it's much better compared to throwing a javelin because it's done in a dynamic setting. There's almost always locomotion. Baseball, especially as a pitcher, there's not as much locomotion. This is where this movement comes into play. This wild exercise involves that to a point. So I'm gonna get set here, okay? I wanna feel my lengthened lat here, my abs here, and then through my hip, and I'm gonna go here, hold that, hold. And think about when this weight is pulling me back in, I have to be as stable as possible. Again, now, remember, you have to do general movements like a big squat, like a big single leg, like lunges, like back squats, like cleans, like snatches. Then you get more effective at these specific exercises that are much more wild, okay? Once you improve that general strength, that's gonna lead to being able to do these wild movements, which will then elevate your game. If you guys need help with your training, head over to peakstrength.app, the Google Play Store or the Apple iOS Store. Go into the football specific training and click on quarterbacks, okay? Once you click on quarterbacks, you're gonna get a periodized program to help you become a champion. Because remember, freaks, if you want to become a champion, you've always got to cultivate your power. Peace.